Hey guys, me again. Back to the painting on the Harley. Well, we're not actually painting on the Harley, but the practice sessions prior to painting on the Harley. And probably as you recall, the last time I left you, I was having problems with brushes, and well, I didn't know for sure it was brushes or paint or the surface that I'm painting on or what, but I've been having problems trying to get some form of paint flow off of a brush that would allow me to be able to do some nice lettering. I tried different brushes and I tried different paint and I tried different surfaces and texture, like on high gloss paint, and I tried it on a plastic dip surface, and I'm not getting the results that I would expect. I mean, I can get some stuff to come up all okay, but it's not, it takes a little more work than what it should if I had the proper paint flow on my brush, right? I mean, even though I don't have the skill set, if I had the proper paint flow on the brush, I could probably do a whole lot better than what I'm doing right now. I'm not sure why I'm not getting that paint flow. So I went online and checked. I thought maybe it had to do with mixing the paint, that I wasn't getting the proper consistency of the paint or the proper liquidity or whatever you want to call it. So I tried different thinners and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't seem to get what I wanted, but I did go online and checked it out, found a couple of videos on there, and there is an art form to actually getting the paint mixed down to where it flows the best, saturates your brush, stays in the brush, and for longevity in terms of, you know, your one brush full will give you quite a bit of quite a few letters and lines before you have to refill it again. So there's a lot of work, and it's once you figure that out, the right consistency and right amount of thinners into your paint and that sort of thing. It's a constant battle to continuously, as you paint, continuously mix that paint down to where it needs to be. They say that you got to get used to the drag on your palette. When you're paletting your brush, you have to learn what that drag feels like when you finally do get the good saturation and mix down to the proper consistency with your paint. Once you get the feel for that, you will have to constantly come back to your palette every time and just keep working that, because as your paint sits there, that changes. You know, your paint will dry up, the stuff will evaporate out of it while you're painting on your board and whatnot. You have to come back and you have to re-palette your brush. And apparently it's one of those things you have to learn how to do it, and then once you know how to do it, you have to continuously do it. So I decided after I watched that video that I would give it another try. So I took some time and tried to see if I could actually figure out how to get that brush paleted properly, mixed down properly, paint mixed down properly with thinners and whatnot. And I still had a hard time with it. And you know, I did mess around a little bit. I cleaned the stuff off that I had on this and started again. I tried to take this off, but this set too long. I might have to work a little harder to get this stuff off. This was the previous attempt. Did thin it down a little bit. You can see the lines stuff in more. But I was able to do this kind of thing here a little bit with red paint. It took some work. It wasn't quick and easy. A lot of times I'd put something on and I'd have to wipe it off and do it again. You know, that's just me not being good with brush strokes and the paint and all that. But I did finally get it with a lot of work. I want to get to the point where I can properly mix the paint and be able to put something down without having to struggle with it as much as I struggled just to get this. I'd like to add to this, but I also want to make sure that when I add to it that I don't ruin it, you know, because it's probably one of the better things that I've got down. If I look at it close, I can still see it's very amateur, very unskilled, unpracticed. You know, it's not good quality. It's not a good job. It's just that was probably one of my more successful attempts at it. So I thought that what I would do is, you know, take a look at the paints that I'm using. I'm pretty sure that, you know, this could probably be done with any kind of paint, but I think that I was under the impression some of these paints I have are actually enamel, and they're not. None of the paints I have are actually enamel. There's acrylic and then there's oil-based, but there's no enamel. So I thought I need to go get some enamel somewhere, and I looked around a few places and couldn't really find it. I think I'd probably have to go to a hobby shop or somewhere, unless I wanted to buy a big can of enamel, like a full-size can for painting a car or whatever, or quart size. I don't want to spend that much money on paint until I get this sorted out. So I asked myself, well, where can I go? I thought, well, hobby shop. And then I was like, that's down Calgary. I don't want to drive all the way down Calgary just to get a couple small containers of enamel paint. So today I was out and about and I thought, well, wait a minute, there's a place here called Michael's and they have a lot of art supplies and stuff like that. Well, actually, before I did that, I went to Canadian Tire, because Canadian Tire used to have plastic model kits, car kits. You know, you could buy the plastic model kits for cars or planes or a lot of different things, and you could put it together, and you could buy the enamel paints, the small bottles of paint. And that is enamel, I know that. So I went there and checked it out, and they discontinued that. They don't do the plastic model kits anymore. They have paints, but they have you know, automotive paints and spray can and stuff like that. A little too expensive, a little too much to experiment with. So I thought, okay, where's the next best place I can go? And of course, I thought of the hobby shop in Calgary, and I thought, well, no, I don't want to go there. And then it hit me here in Airdrie. There's a place called Michael's, and I know Michael's has quite a selection for paints and brushes and a lot of that stuff, because it's an arts and crafts store. So I went into where Michael's, and looked to where I knew where the paints would probably be, and found that section. And almost immediately I saw the plastic model kits, the cars, that Walmart used to carry and Canadian Tire used to carry, and neither place no longer carries it, but this particular place does have some model kits. And the first thing I saw was a 1970 and a half Camaro Z28. And that's almost identical to the car that I almost bought for my first car. I ended up buying a Ford, but I almost bought this 70 or 71 Camaro. The one I looked at, I don't think it was a Z28, but it was, you know, same body style and everything. Just would have had a different motor, different performance package and stuff like that. And this one on the cover was painted a nice, I think it was a nice orangish color with black stripes. And I thought, wow, that's nice. I thought to myself, I probably would buy that, put that together, and paint it up like that, put it with the rest of my cars. I got a few die-cast metal cars, you know, like model size ones, 6-8 inches long, whatever. And I thought this would be a good addition to that. And then I looked at the price, $31, $31.99. It's like, what the? You know, I used to buy model kits for like, well, of course it was years ago, I guess, but I used to buy them for like, you know, $8, $12. And I got looking at that now, it's like $31 for a plastic model kit for a car now. It's kind of gone up a bit, but I guess everything does go up, and cost of living goes up, and the companies have to make money, so they gotta jack their prices. But I wouldn't mind having that, but maybe a little later on when I'm a little bit financially set, maybe I might consider picking up a few model car kits like that and you know, doing them up. I used to like to do that. I never really collected them. I put them together and set them somewhere, and then after a while, you know, being a kid, teenager or whatever, didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to them. Eventually they fall by the wayside somewhere, which they have. I don't have any plastic model kits right now anymore, but I might try to get back into that again a little later on. But anyway, back to what we were talking about here. You know, what the point that was, in that section I also found the what they used to call testers, and it's still testers model paint in these little bottles here. And this is, I'm quite sure, that this writing is so small I can't see it, but I'm almost 100% certain that this is enamel paint. I was a little surprised when I saw the bottles, because I think these bottles are smaller than what they used to be. I think they've actually downsized them just a little bit, but nevertheless, this is enough. This is like $2.50 or something like that for the bottle. And I got a red and I got a white, and I could have gotten a box of about 6 to 8, you know, a little kit with 6 to 8 of these and a brush in it, but there's some off colors that I probably never use. And the kit, you know, was something like, cheapest one was like $12 or something like that. So, which is not bad, I guess. But before I spend that kind of money on that stuff, I want to see if the enamel paint actually makes any difference. I'm going to try it raw right out of the bottle first. I'm not going to mix it down with anything. And I'm going to see how it flows on the brush without being mixed with anything.